welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a world where, well, true connection can maybe blossom from the most unexpected and perhaps even contractually binding beginnings. Imagine a story where a really practical arrangement, born out of necessity, actually ignites a profound emotional discovery. That's pretty much our journey today.
Indeed. And what truly stands out in this particular narrative, I think, is how these external circumstances, even the ones, born from desperation, can become the crucible for the most authentic and internal growth. We're going to explore how a classic trope, the marriage of convenience, is transformed here. It becomes a catalyst for really profound character development and resonant themes. It moves far beyond what you might typically expect from a romance, actually.
Yeah.
It's about building intimacy from this highly practical, almost unavoidable starting point.
And for you, our listener, this deep dive is basically your shortcut to understanding a complex, really emotionally rich narrative without feeling overwhelmed. We're here to guide you through the core insights, the surprising elements, and those fantastic aha moments that make this story so special. Our mission today is to illuminate the heart of Emily Rath's Pucking Strong. It's book 4 in the Jacksonville Rays hockey series, and we want to uncover why it resonates so deeply with its readers. Okay, let's set the stage for this fascinating dive. Pucking Strong is a pretty significant installment in the very popular Jacksonville Rays hockey series. It's set to release on August 26, 2025. And it's a substantial read, clocking in approximately 544 pages, which, already hints at the depth we're about to explore. Now, when you hear hockey series, maybe romance, your mind might immediately go to, thrilling games and steamy encounters. And while it is an sports romance, Pucking Strong weaves in so much more, twisting familiar tropes in truly intriguing ways.
That's precisely it. While it firmly belongs in that sports romance genre, its narrative richness really comes from this compelling blend of subgenres. We're looking at a slow burn, definitely. A workplace romance, too. And perhaps most uniquely executed, the marriage of convenience trope.
Okay.
And the deliberate choice of these subgenres, it isn't just to add flavor, it meticulously dictates the narrative's pacing and significantly elevates the emotional stakes.
Oh, so.
Well, a slow burn, workplace, marriage of convenience setup, it promises a very deliberate unfolding of intimacy. It forces the characters to navigate their evolving personal feelings alongside, professional boundaries and constant public scrutiny.
Right, that public side.
Exactly. This combination inherently creates a remarkably fertile ground for character development because these individuals are thrust into close quarters under highly unusual, high-pressure circumstances. It allows their true selves and deepest vulnerabilities to emerge gradually, almost, you could say, reluctantly.
This is where it gets genuinely captivating, I think.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about a straightforward sports romance. We're diving into a marriage of convenience. And these are always, well, a goldmine for emotional tension.
Definitely.
It's a classic trope, but this one feels particularly rich because of who our protagonists are and the intense circumstances that throw them together. So let's meet the players, shall we? First, we have Teddy O'Connor. He's transitioned from an NHL intern to the team physical therapist for the very same Jacksonville Rays. What's crucial to understand about Teddy, what truly sets the emotional tone, is his long, unspoken history with our other protagonist. 6 years prior, he'd, in the summary says, quietly and painfully crushed on Henrik.
Yeah, that phrase, quietly and painfully, it speaks volumes about Teddy's inner world, doesn't it?
It really does.
It immediately suggests a deep well of emotion, a capacity for enduring feelings, and perhaps, a history of unreciprocated longing. He's not a character who outwardly broadcasts his affections, it seems, but internally, he experiences everything with significant intensity. This quiet, persistent longing sets up a powerful, asymmetrical emotional dynamic right from the very beginning.
Asymmetrical, yeah, that's a good word for it.
It highlights his emotional depth and maybe foreshadows his remarkable capacity for unwavering support later on. He carries this hidden emotional weight, a history of caring deeply, even when it wasn't acknowledged, which makes his actions in the present all the more poignant.
And then we have the other half of this unexpected duo, Henrik Karlsson. He's the formidable Swedish star forward for the Rays. But his personal life has been utterly upended by tragedy. He's suddenly faced with the immense responsibility of legally caring for his injured young niece, Carolina, following a devastating family loss. And this isn't just about a simple custody battle. It's about navigating the profound emotional, practical, and crucially legal complexities in the wake of a life-altering event.
Yeah.
Swedish authorities are involved, making his need for a solution urgent and absolute.
Emphasizing the severity of Henrik's situation is absolutely critical here. This isn't just a minor setback or like a convenient plot device.
No, not at all.
It's a profound family tragedy that demands immediate and significant intervention under the strict purview of Swedish law. This high-stakes backdrop immediately raises the emotional bar for the entire story. Henrik isn't just looking for a convenient arrangement. He's desperate for a lifeline, a legal pathway to protect the one remaining family member he has, a child who has herself endured immense trauma.
Right.
His desperation and the sheer gravity of Carolina's situation elevate the stakes of the entire premise, making the solution, however unconventional, a matter of fundamental necessity.
So, okay, let's sum this up. We have a high-stakes legal requirement from a foreign government, a devastating family loss, and this impulsive offer from someone harboring a long-held secret crush. Because Swedish authorities require Henrik to be married for custody, Teddy, seemingly out of the blue, makes this impulsive offer of a fake marriage of convenience. On the surface, it's framed as an act of pure helpfulness, but the summary explicitly tells us it carries clear emotional risk. That's not just a recipe for fascinating emotional tension, it's a setup for profound vulnerability, isn't it?
It really is, and this raises an important question, I think. What does Teddy's impulsivity reveal about his character? Is it a sudden, purely selfless leap of faith? Or is it maybe born from that long-held, quiet adoration finally bubbling to the surface in a moment of acute crisis for Henrik?
That's a good question.
And conversely, how does Henrik's desperate need for a solution shape his acceptance of such an unconventional, deeply personal proposal? This immediately sets up a dynamic where one person, Teddy, is offering something deeply personal from the heart, risking his own emotional well-being, right?
Right, a huge risk.
While the other, Henrik, is accepting out of sheer necessity and a desperate singular focus on protecting his niece. This creates an inherent, almost heartbreaking imbalance at the outset, a powerful asymmetry that the story must meticulously navigate. It forces a collision of pragmatic necessity and deeply suppressed emotion from day one, making the journey from convenience to genuine connection all the more compelling and ultimately hard-won.
With that incredible high-stakes setup, let's explore how this marriage of convenience actually begins to evolve, because it doesn't stay just practical for long, presumably.
No, definitely not.
The story immediately leans into that unspoken history between Teddy and Henrik. We learned they first crossed paths 6 years ago. But the crucial, really poignant detail is that only Teddy remembers the true depth of his feelings from that encounter. Henrik, initially, seems completely oblivious to the emotional impact he had on Teddy back then. This asymmetry, this unshared memory of longing, it profoundly shapes their initial interactions, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Teddy is entering this arrangement with a pre-existing emotional investment that Henrik is completely unaware of, adding this layer of poignant tension and vulnerability to every single shared moment.
Yeah, you can just feel it.
Precisely. This 6-year gap, with the emotional burden sitting solely on Teddy's side, it's a brilliant narrative device, really. It means that while Henrik sees a practical solution, maybe even a transactional arrangement to secure Carolina's custody.
Right, just a means to an end.
Teddy sees a chance, however slim, however potentially painful, to finally be close to someone he's harbored feelings for so long. This kind of emotional head start for one character creates a fascinating dynamic where Teddy is constantly navigating his own suppressed desires and hopes, meticulously self-regulating his feelings,
Character constantly watching himself.
while Henrik is simply focused on the immediate crisis of his niece. This initial imbalance in emotional stakes means that every shared glance, every casual touch, every moment of domesticity is imbued with a different, almost secret weight for Teddy. It immediately makes you, the listener, wonder how much Teddy is willing to give, how long he can maintain this emotional facade, and how slowly Henrik might realize the profound depth of the commitment he's unwittingly accepted.
And the immediate stakes are ramped up even further by their geographical relocation. That's a big factor, too. After the tragedy, Teddy doesn't just offer help. He travels to Sweden with Henrik and Carolina. This isn't just a simple move into a new house. It immediately throws them into an incredibly intense, shared experience, far away from their familiar environment in Jacksonville.
Yeah, totally out of their comfort zone.
They are effectively isolated together, united by grief and this legal necessity. This shared journey in a foreign land and under such emotionally fraught circumstances acts as an accelerant for their forced proximity. It makes intimacy, whether practical or emotional, almost inevitable, you'd think.
That geographical shift is a masterstroke in escalating the pressure. Stripped of their usual routines, their established support systems, their familiar language even,
Hmm.
they're forced to rely almost entirely on each other in an alien environment. This creates a powerful crucible for their relationship, where the initial formality of the fake marriage is immediately tested by the raw reality of shared grief and the immediate, overwhelming responsibility for a traumatized child.
Yeah, no easing into it.
Exactly. It compels them to confront each other and their new reality with a rawness that might not have developed as quickly had they remained in their usual surroundings. It's an immediate, high-stakes immersion into a shared life, bypassing the usual slower stages of courtship and forcing them into a profoundly intimate partnership right from the very first day.
So, the fake marriage takes root. Teddy moves in not just as Henrik's spouse for the Swedish authorities, but also in a very tangible day-to-day role as caretakers for Carolina.
Right, a dual role already.
And it's not just their private lives. Their living arrangement becomes part of the Ray's PR narrative. And this is such a critical detail. It means they have these dual demanding roles. They're trying to build a semblance of a normal, functioning family unit internally for Carolina and for their own nascent peace, while simultaneously performing this public relations charade for the team.
Yeah.
How does this external performance, this constant awareness of being watched, add an entirely new layer of pressure to their already complex internal reality?
Oh, it's immense. The dual roles, caregiver to Carolina and public relations figure for the Rays, impose this huge, multifaceted pressure. The PR narrative introduces a pervasive external layer of performance to their already complex internal reality. It means their burgeoning domesticity isn't just for themselves or for Carolina. It's under constant scrutiny from the team, the media, the fans.
Everyone's watching.
Everyone. This requires a constant level of public conformity and a united front that might feel deeply at odds with the private, raw, and often messy nature of their shared grief and the slow unfolding of their true relationship. This external performance can significantly amplify their internal struggles, forcing them to present a seamless, loving image even when their emotional states might be in turmoil or when their relationship is still defined by its contractual origin.
Right, the contract is still there underneath.
It blurs the lines between what's real and what's for show, making any genuine connection feel all the more delicate and hard-won because it must first succeed in the public eye. It's like living in a fishbowl while trying to navigate an emotional minefield, constantly questioning what is authentic and what is merely for public consumption.
And this professional dynamic adds another fascinating layer, too. Teddy is the team's physical therapist. Henrik is a star player. This is a workplace romance, a unique power imbalance.
Definitely.
Teddy is literally responsible for Henrik's physical well-being, and now he's his fake husband and Carolina's caretaker. How does that professional boundary, the need for discretion, the fact that Teddy's job performance could be intertwined with Henrik's ability to play, how does that complicate their burgeoning emotional connection, especially with that pre-existing unspoken crush lurking?
That's a crucial point, and it's where the workplace romance element truly shines, I think. Teddy, as Henrik's physical therapist, already holds a position of professional intimacy and trust.
Yeah, it's built in.
His job requires him to be close to Henrik, to understand his body, to manage his recovery. It's a very specific, almost vulnerable relationship, but it's meant to be strictly professional. Right. Now, add the layer of a fake marriage, custody stakes, and Teddy's 6-year-long crush. This immediately creates a profound ethical and emotional tightrope.
How does Teddy maintain his professional impartiality when his deepest desires are wrapped up in the man on his treatment table?
Exactly. What happens if their personal feelings interfere with Henrik's on-ice performance? The need for discretion, the constant awareness of watchful eyes from management and teammates, forces them into a private world even within their shared workspace. It heightens the stakes for any genuine emotional connection because the failure of their marriage isn't just personal. It could impact Henrik's career, Carolina's well-being, and Teddy's own professional standing.
Wow.
This inherent tension makes every step toward genuine intimacy feel incredibly precarious and earned, built on the slow dismantling of professional and emotional barriers.
It's those little everyday moments, isn't it? The quiet routine that starts to chip away at the formality of their arrangement. The summary highlights the quiet domesticity they build, teaching Carolina English, navigating shared grief. Can you imagine the power of those simple acts? Picture Teddy, perhaps a bit awkward at first, trying to explain basic English words with hand gestures and patient repetition while Henrik watches on. Maybe a quiet, almost imperceptible softening around his eyes.
Yeah, the small moments.
These aren't just moments of teaching. They're moments of vulnerability and shared purpose that chip away at the formality of their arrangement, building trust one word, one shared laugh, one comforting glance at a time. It's in these moments that their chemistry, which the summary says simmers slowly, truly starts to develop, especially against Teddy's emotional exuberance and Henrik's reserved grief.
This contrast between Teddy's open emotion and Henrik's more internalized grief is absolutely crucial for the novel's emotional depth. Henrik, likely conditioned by his Swedish background and the profound trauma he's experienced, tends towards reserve.
Understandably.
Teddy's presence, with his natural expressiveness, his willingness to show vulnerability, and his genuine, almost bubbling enthusiasm, gently coaxes Henrik out of his shell. It's not a forceful breaking down of walls, but a patient, consistent offering of a safe space. The shared project of teaching Carolina English, for instance, isn't merely an educational task. It's a common goal that demands cooperation, patience, and gentle interaction.
Right, it forces them together gently.
These quiet moments of shared responsibility, like sitting together at the kitchen table, helping Carolina with homework, or simply navigating the daily routines of a makeshift family, become the true foundations of genuine connection. They are built not on grand gestures, but on shared responsibility, quiet, consistent presence, and the subtle ways they begin to meet each other in the middle, creating a unique space where healing and connection can truly flourish.
And then we get to one of the most significant and, it sounds like, beautifully handled arcs in the story. Henrik grappling with his demisexual identity. This is a profound moment for him, the realization that he doesn't experience attraction until emotional intimacy is firmly established. The summary makes it clear this arc is handled with sensitivity and authenticity and is not portrayed as a problem to fix. This isn't just about character development. It feels like a powerful statement in the romance genre.
It really is. What's truly groundbreaking here, I think, is how the story not only normalizes demisexuality, but integrates it so organically as a natural, non-problematic part of Henrik's identity. Instead of presenting it as a narrative obstacle to be overcome or a flaw to be fixed by the right partner, Emily Rath reframes the entire typical romance arc.
How does she do that?
By making emotional connection the absolute precondition for any physical attraction, Pucking Strong forces both the characters and, by extension, the reader to slow down, to truly savor the deliberate buildup of trust, understanding, and emotional safety.
So the slow burn is built into his identity.
Exactly. This isn't just normalizing demisexuality, it's a narrative masterclass in how intimacy can bloom in stages, providing a subtle but powerful blueprint for healthy, consent-driven relationships that prioritize emotional readiness. It profoundly challenges conventional romance narratives by placing the emphasis squarely on the deep emotional bond forged between characters as the ultimate foundation for all forms of intimacy.
And Teddy's role in this is absolutely crucial, right? Given his prior, long-held crush and his innate emotional intelligence, he seems uniquely suited to support Henrik through this discovery.
Totally.
He's already operating from a place of deep emotional investment and affection, even if Henrik is initially unaware of it. This means Teddy has the patience, the understanding, and the empathy to wait for Henrik to reach that point of emotional intimacy where attraction can naturally bloom. It must be incredibly validating, almost a relief maybe for Teddy, that the path to attraction for Henrik requires that deep emotional bond, playing perfectly into Teddy's strengths and desires.
You've hit on a key reciprocal dynamic there. Teddy's pre-existing emotional state, his quiet devotion, positions him as the ideal partner for Henrik's demisexual journey. He's already providing the emotional safety and consistent affection that Henrik subconsciously needs to even begin to develop attraction. This means Teddy has the innate patience and understanding to navigate Henrik's unique process without pressure or judgment.
That lack of pressure seems key.
It is. His emotional intelligence allows him to perceive Henrik's struggles with identity and grief without imposing expectations, offering support that is both unwavering and gentle, creating a profound and safe space for Henrik to explore and understand himself. It's a beautiful coming together where Teddy's quiet devotion is finally met by Henrik's growing emotional recognition and eventual deeply earned attraction.
Yeah.
It makes their physical intimacy not just steamy, but incredibly meaningful and resonant.
All of these meticulously built elements then culminate in what the summary describes as a deliberate and richly earned slow burn. Their relationship gradually shifts from purely contractual to deeply emotional, building into genuine affection and romance. This isn't a quick jump into physical intimacy or an immediate declaration of love. It's a painstaking step-by-step journey of discovery and trust. That phrase, deliberate and richly earned, really speaks to the profound depth of the narrative, doesn't it?
It does.
It means we, as the reader, are along for every nuanced step, every quiet moment, every small victory that slowly, authentically, builds to that genuine, powerful connection.
Indeed. The description, deliberate and richly earned, is not merely a stylistic choice. It's a direct reflection of the narrative's commitment to emotional realism. Every emotional milestone, every step toward genuine intimacy is built upon solid foundations of shared experience, mutual vulnerability, and a deepening understanding of each other's complex inner worlds. It means that the eventual romantic payoff feels incredibly authentic and deeply satisfying, precisely because it's not rushed. It's earned through navigating the profound grief of losing family, establishing a makeshift family unit under immense duress, and supporting a complex journey of self-discovery, particularly Henrik's understanding of his demisexual identity.
It all ties together.
The slow burn isn't simply about delaying gratification. It's about meticulously illustrating the profound journey from two individuals brought together by necessity to two people who wholeheartedly choose each other through genuine affection and a hard-won, deeply emotional bond. It powerfully validates the idea that true, lasting love often takes time, patience, and a profound willingness to be truly seen.
Building on everything we've just discussed,
Yeah.
the demisexual representation in Pucking Strong is clearly a core foundational theme. It's not just a character trait that adds a bit of flavor, you know.
No, it's central.
It's central to Henrik's entire journey and fundamentally shapes the unique pacing and emotional unfolding of their romance. How does this specific portrayal contribute to broader LGBTQ plus representation in romance? And what kind of impact might it have on readers who encounter it, particularly those who might identify with Henrik's experience?
Well, what's truly groundbreaking and impactful here is how this nuanced portrayal significantly broadens the spectrum of LGBTQ plus representation within romance. It moves beyond more commonly depicted sexual identities to embrace a wider array of experiences.
That's important.
By showing a demisexual character not as an anomaly, a narrative obstacle, or a problem to be solved, but as a fully realized individual whose attraction simply functions differently, Emily Rath powerfully normalizes and validates an experience that is often misunderstood, dismissed, or simply unacknowledged in mainstream narratives.
Right, giving it visibility.
Exactly. For readers, especially those who identify as demisexual, this kind of authentic representation can be incredibly validating, offering a profound mirror to their own experiences and affirming that their way of loving is just as valid, meaningful, and capable of deep connection as any other. For all readers, I think it cultivates a crucial empathy and expands understanding, challenging preconceived notions about how attraction and romance should unfold.
Yeah.
It also subtly teaches about consent, patience, and the importance of emotional readiness in relationships, emphasizing these vital aspects over immediate physical desire, which is a valuable lesson for any reader regardless of their own identity.
And hand in hand with that is the pervasive yet incredibly real theme of grief and healing. The book portrays healing not as this neat linear path that just resolves itself once a partner is found.
Which is often how it's shown.
Right. But as a messy, often excruciating journey marked by real setbacks, emotional scars, and little victories. That kind of grounded, realistic portrayal makes the emotional journey feel so much more authentic and relatable, especially when it's woven so intimately into a developing romance. Love doesn't magically erase the pain here.
No, and this raises an important point. In a genre often focused on swift, happy endings and seemingly effortless romantic progression, Pucking Strong's realistic portrayal of grief and healing grounds the romance and makes it feel profoundly authentic. It suggests that love isn't merely about finding happiness or a quick fix. It's about finding strength, solace, and the capacity for shared endurance together through life's hardest moments.
Sheer endurance. I like that.
By showing the messy, non-linear nature of grief, the unexpected emotional scars that linger, the moments of regression, and the slow, often imperceptible little victories that accumulate over time, the book offers a more mature, relatable, and deeply resonant narrative. It powerfully implies that a truly strong, resilient connection can only form when individuals are allowed to be vulnerable, to struggle, and to heal at their own pace, with their partner acting as a constant, supportive, non-judgmental presence.
Yeah.
This makes the romance feel incredibly earned, as it's built on shared hardship, mutual support through profound emotional pain, and a realistic understanding that healing is a continuous process, not a destination. Love, in this context, is a powerful force for healing, but it's presented not as a magic cure, but as a shared journey.
Let's delve deeper into that marriage of convenience trope again. It's a classic for a reason, but what elements in Pucking Strong make it feel fresh, deeply meaningful, and specifically impactful for you? We've mentioned Carolina, the custody stakes, and the demisexual arc, but how do these elements truly elevate the trope beyond mere convenience into something profoundly unique?
Okay, yeah. The brilliance of Pucking Strong's take on the marriage of convenience trope lies in how it meticulously layers these elements, transforming a potentially superficial premise into a deeply profound exploration of human connection and societal expectations. Unlike some traditional uses of the trope where the convenience might simply be about money or social standing or escaping family pressure,
Right, the usual suspect.
here the stakes are profoundly human and morally weighted. The custody of a child who has experienced immense trauma. This immediately injects a moral and emotional responsibility into the relationship from day one that goes far beyond any personal desires. Carolina isn't just a plot device. She is a living, breathing, vulnerable individual whose well-being is entirely dependent on this arrangement. This forces Teddy and Henrik to act as a united, loving front, even when their personal relationship is nascent and undefined. They must become a family, not just play at one.
So it's not just about two people figuring out their feelings, it's about two people becoming a safe, stable unit for a child, which then, almost by necessity, forces them to confront their own emotions and build something genuine out of that initial practical agreement.
Exactly. And the demisexual arc further deepens and complicates this in a revolutionary way. In many marriage of convenience stories, physical intimacy might happen relatively quickly, even if the emotional connection isn't fully formed. But for Henrik, physical attraction is explicitly and fundamentally tied to emotional intimacy. This means the convenience literally cannot evolve into genuine attraction, much less physical passion, until that profound emotional bond is forged. It forces a slow, deliberate, and deeply authentic unfolding of affection and trust. It powerfully subverts expectations by making emotional intimacy the precondition for the physical rather than a byproduct.
It's a huge difference.
It is. This combination of high-stakes child welfare, the constant public performance for PR, and Henrik's unique identity makes the thoughtful unfolding of this trope feel incredibly fresh, deeply resonant, and utterly unique. It forces the characters, and by extension the readers, to value emotional connection, profound understanding, and genuine commitment above all else, making the journey from legal necessity to deeply authentic, familial love profoundly earned and unique to this story. It truly reframes what convenience can mean when the ultimate outcome is profound, multifaceted love.
The idea of found family is so incredibly resonant, and it seems like this series, and especially Pucking Strong, truly leans into that, showing how your chosen connections can be just as powerful, if not more so, than your biological ones.
Mm-hmm.
The summary mentions it as a series hallmark, this focus on teammates, friends, and loved ones. And Carolina plays such a pivotal role, not just as a reason for the marriage, but as a loving presence who truly grounds their bond. She's not just a child in the story. She's the emotional heart of their nascent family unit.
The concept of found family is indeed a powerful and heartwarming bedrock of the entire Jacksonville Rays series, and it's particularly poignant and central to Pucking Strong. In the wake of a devastating family tragedy for Henrik, the idea that a new, loving, and supportive family unit can be forged from such unusual and challenging circumstances is incredibly hopeful and affirming.
Yeah, it really is.
Carolina is absolutely pivotal here. She isn't merely the catalyst for the fake marriage, she becomes the very heart and anchor of Teddy and Henrik's evolving relationship. Her presence necessitates cooperation, gentleness, and a shared purpose that fundamentally transcends the initial contractual agreement. Shared acts of care teaching her English, comforting her through her grief, reading her bedtime stories, simply being consistently present for her, cement their bond in a way that mere romantic attraction might not initially achieve.
It builds something real between them through her.
Exactly. She provides a tangible, vulnerable third party who grounds their bond in selfless love and responsibility, making their journey from convenience to genuine affection feel profoundly familial, not just romantically exclusive. She is the living embodiment of their commitment to each other and to the idea of a future together.
And it's great to hear that while the focus is squarely on Teddy, Henrik, and Carolina, the story also maintains that wonderful sense of team continuity. Beloved characters from earlier in the Rays universe appear naturally, enriching the story without ever overshadowing the central plot. It's like visiting old friends, catching up on their lives. while still being completely invested in the new narrative that's unfolding.
That's a truly skillful balancing act on the author's part, I think. It acknowledges the established readership and their emotional investment in previous characters without allowing those appearances to steal the spotlight from the central couple's critical journey.
Keeps the world feeling alive.
It does. These cameo roles serve multiple purposes. They reinforce the overarching theme of found family within the broader series, showing that Teddy and Henrik are part of a larger supportive community that understands the unique pressures of professional sports. It also adds layers of familiarity, warmth, and even some lightheartedness, reminding readers that even as profound new relationships form, the existing bonds of friendship and team solidarity remain strong. These interactions provide a sense of continuity and weave a broader tapestry of connections, validating the depth and richness of the world Emily Rath has meticulously created in the Jacksonville Rays universe.
So after all that rich emotional exploration, let's talk about why this story is resonating so deeply with readers, based on reviewer highlights. Teddy O'Connor, for instance, receives a lot of praise for his emotional authenticity. Reviewers love his anxiety, his humor, and his self-awareness, which are traits that make him deeply endearing. It sounds like he's a character people can truly see themselves in, with all his quirks and vulnerabilities. He feels real.
Yeah, and what's truly compelling here, I think, is how the characters' internal struggles and their profound vulnerabilities, rather than their external perfections or flawless heroics, are what genuinely connect with readers. It powerfully suggests a growing hunger in the romance genre for more realistic, emotionally complex heroes and heroines.
I definitely see that trend.
Teddy's anxiety and self-awareness don't make him weak. They make him incredibly relatable and endearing. Readers don't just admire him. They empathize with his struggles, his hopes, and his quiet devotion. His humor likely serves not only as a source of charm, but also as a subtle coping mechanism, making his emotional journey feel all the more authentic and human. He isn't a stoic, unflappable lead. He's a beautifully messy, deeply feeling individual, and that honesty is what draws readers in and makes him so utterly lovable.
Yeah.
It's a powerful testament that strength can be found and connection forged, even in profound vulnerability.
And then there's Henrik, whose journey is specifically highlighted as going beyond stereotype, exploring emotional grief and confusion in a dignified way. This is so important, especially when dealing with such sensitive topics as trauma, family loss, and discovering one's identity.
Absolutely.
It sounds like he's portrayed with immense respect and nuance, allowing his complex emotional landscape to unfold naturally.
The emphasis on Henrik's dignified journey is absolutely crucial. It means his grief isn't sensationalized, nor is his demisexuality treated as a problem to be fixed, or a source of angst, or a mere plot device for conflict that will be neatly resolved by a partner.
No easy answers.
No. Instead, his internal process of coming to terms with his identity and healing from profound trauma is depicted with deep respect, sensitivity, and psychological realism. This dignified portrayal allows readers to truly understand and appreciate his emotional landscape, fostering a deeper, more empathetic connection to his character. It allows for the full complexity of his emotional processes to be given the space they deserve, allowing Henrik to grow and heal authentically without resorting to simplistic resolutions or dramatic flourishes. It's about witnessing his quiet, formidable inner strength and resilience as he navigates profound personal challenges, which in turn makes his eventual connection with Teddy all the more powerful and earned.
And we absolutely cannot forget Carolina. She's described as bringing not just joy and emotional stakes, but readers consistently loved her bond with Teddy and Henrik. It's always wonderful when a child character in a romance isn't just a prop or a reason for conflict, but a fully integrated, beloved, and genuinely active part of the narrative's emotional core.
Carolina's role truly elevates Pucking Strong beyond a typical romance. She is integral to the entire narrative's emotional architecture. She provides a vital emotional anchor and a constant, tangible reminder of the profound stakes involved in this unconventional family unit.
She makes it real.
She does. Her innocence and vulnerability, coupled with her bursts of childlike joy, act as a grounding force, gently pulling Teddy and Henrik out of their individual struggles and into a shared space of unconditional care and affection. Readers loving her bond with them underscores the profound power of the found family theme we discussed. Her presence ensures that the love that develops isn't just between two adults, but expansively encompasses a familial bond, making the story's emotional core feel even richer, more expansive, and deeply satisfying. She's not merely charming, she's utterly essential to the emotional architecture of the entire book, providing the purpose and the heart around which their new lives revolve.
Okay, so overall, the praise for Emily Rath's emotional storytelling, her humor, and the steam that truly builds is clearly
I
strong.
don't think sounds like it.
But, like any good deep dive, we also look at what some reviewers might see as a dislike, or maybe a point of contention. In this case, it seems to often be the pacing, the book's length, and its deliberate domestic focus, which some feel slows the momentum.
Right, and this brings us to a really important question of narrative craft, doesn't it? Is the perceived slowness of the pacing a weakness? Or is it, in fact, an essential and deliberate narrative choice? A choice that allows for the remarkable depth of the slow burn, the nuanced portrayal of demisexuality, and the realistic depiction of grief to fully unfold.
That's the key question.
My analysis suggests that for Pucking Strong, a rapid pace would simply not do justice to the complexity of its themes. For a story that hinges on the gradual building of profound emotional intimacy as a prerequisite for physical attraction, and on the realistic, nonlinear, often frustrating process of healing from deep trauma,
Yeah?
a rapid-fire plot would undermine everything the author is striving to achieve. This deliberate pace forces the reader to sit with the characters, to experience their quiet moments, their internal struggles, and to truly witness the painstaking, incremental process of connection. It rewards patience with richer character development and a more profound emotional payoff, making the eventual romance feel deeply earned and authentic rather than rushed or superficial.
So the pace serves the story.
In this instance, I'd argue the length and domestic focus become not liabilities, but crucial assets.
It seems like for this story, that slower, more deliberate pace is exactly what allows the emotional transformation to feel so genuinely earned. It's not about instant gratification. It's about a journey, a transformation.
Precisely. That deliberate pacing allows the reader to truly feel the incremental shifts in their relationship, the tiny hard-won victories in their healing process, and the profound significance of Henrik's self-discovery. Without that space and time, the nuances of their demisexual arc, the authenticity of their grief, the careful construction of their fake marriage into a real loving family unit, all of it would simply be lost or feel unconvincing.
Right.
The length and domestic focus become essential components, giving the emotional beats the necessary space to breathe, develop organically, and resonate deeply. It's a commitment to emotional realism over fast-paced plot, and it's ultimately what makes their connection feel so tangible and true.
So to bring it all together then, our final takeaway for you, our listener, is that Pucking Strong sounds like an emotionally wrought, steamy, slow burn romance that meticulously builds from a practical arrangement into a deeply authentic and enduring connection.
Right.
Emily Rath brings powerful, much-needed LGBTQ plus representation through Henrik's sensitively handled demisexual arc, which, as we've explored, really shapes the entire narrative. And Teddy's voice is simultaneously raw, self-aware, and endearing, making him a character you can't help but root for with every page.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, with the complex layers of grief, the powerful theme of found family, and the unique challenges of professionalism all meticulously woven into its fabric, this installment genuinely stands out, it seems, as the most emotionally layered and profoundly impactful in the entire Jacksonville Rays series. It's far more than just a sports romance.
Definitely more.
It's a profound exploration of what it means to heal, to discover one's true identity, and to build a family in the most unexpected and challenging ways. It truly pushes the boundaries of the genre, offering a story that is both deeply moving and incredibly satisfying on every emotional level. It's a testament, really, to the power of slow, deliberate storytelling in cultivating true, lasting connection.
From grief to a love that truly grows, Pucking Strong reminds us that sometimes what started as mere convenience can, through patience and shared vulnerability, become whole and deeply authentic in its own right. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the unexpected ways we find family and build enduring love, even when facing our deepest vulnerabilities and most challenging circumstances.
And this raises an important question for you, our listener, to consider. In our own lives, how often do we maybe underestimate the quiet, sustained power of domestic intimacy? You know, the everyday shared moments, the consistent presence, the mundane acts of care to foster genuine connection, even in the most unconventional of relationships. And what profound lessons does Pucking Strong teach us about the patience, the understanding, and the space required for truly earned love and authentic self-discovery to slowly, authentically bloom?